Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Maryam Amin. I'm the current Collegiate DECA State President for Oklahoma, and my workshop will be a quick introduction to Collegiate DECA. So let's go ahead and get started. So before we get into the content, just a quick about me. Again, my name is Maryam Amin. I am the current Collegiate DECA State President. I am a Santa Fe High School alumni, go Wolves. I currently am a freshman at the University of Oklahoma. And some things I'm involved in at OU are in DECA. I'm currently starting a chapter at OU, and actually we're about to have our first meeting soon. So I'm very excited for that. I'm in the Club Activities Council, which is basically like student council, but in college. I'm in the International Advisory Committee, and I'm in CKI. So if you guys are in Key Club in high school, it's basically the same thing, but in college. So that's a little bit about me. So usually if we would do this in person, I would hand you out a Post-it note and a pencil, and I would have you write down these answers to these two questions. So since we're virtual, you can go ahead and pause and kind of think about it and jot down your answers or just keep a mental note. So the two questions are, what is something that would motivate you to join Collegiate DECA or something that you look for in the organization? And then number two, what is something that would stop you from joining Collegiate DECA? So usually the top answers I see when I ask the first question, people would want to join to gain leadership skills or business skills. They'd want to join to try and find scholarships or internships, or they just want to connect with peers in college. And this is all stuff that we can offer in DECA, and I'll dive further, into detail about all of those throughout my presentation. And then the number one top answer I see to what is something that would stop you from joining Collegiate DECA is people say, I'm worried about the time commitment. I'm worried I might not have enough time in college. I'll be too busy with my studies. So that's the top answer I see. And you don't have to worry about that too much. And I'll dive into that a little bit more, but I always say, DECA, you get out of it as much as you put in. So if you can't make it to a meeting, if you can't make it to a community service event, if you can't make it to something, that's totally okay. You will get out a lot from DECA if you go to the events, but if you can't make it, that's also totally fine. So yeah, just keep those things in mind. And so real quick, let's talk about DECA membership. So we currently have over 5,000 members all across the United States, and we're growing. And if you zoom out a little bit, you'll see that we have a campus that has Collegiate DECA in Puerto Rico. And then if you zoom out a little bit more, you'll see that we have one in London. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We're growing internationally as well, slowly but surely. Collegiate DECA is becoming much more common. So that's pretty cool. So a lot of people like to ask me, how is it different from high school, right? What can I get out of DECA in college? So the first way it's different from high school is it's not co-curricular. So to be in DECA in high school, you have to take a class, whether that be marketing fundamentals or a class about entrepreneurship or something business related. In college, you do not have to be a business major to join DECA. So, we'd like you to have an interest in business if you want to join DECA, but you can be in any major to join. I like to think of it as DECA and business and leadership is not something that is only taught in classes, but also something that is experienced. And that is why we have that experience open to anyone from any major. Another thing that DECA emphasizes a lot in college that it might not emphasize as much in high school is networking. In college, you're one step closer to being in the real world. And so college is really the time for you to create that network of people that you will get to meet and have these connections with after you graduate, right? So Now, once I joined college, I realized how important it is to have a LinkedIn. Everyone's like, hey, like, there's this alumni from OU and LinkedIn, and she was your major, and she's now in the workforce. So definitely go add her on LinkedIn, go, connect with her. People, through DECA, you're going to be able to meet people that might not be in your college, that you might somehow coincidentally, need that connection in the future. So you never know. Another thing is competition. So our competition is slightly different than in high school. For one thing, we have less events, right? So in high school, you have about 60 competitive events, and that's cut down to 25 in college. And that caused a lot of people to be skeptical sometimes, because they're like skeptical sometimes, because they're like, okay, well, less events, that means I have a less chance of winning, right? But that's absolutely not true. Collegiate DECA does currently have less members, and so your chances of winning are still very high, and I highly recommend that you participate in competition. Another way it's different is we have case studies instead of role plays. So they are very similar. You're still given a scenario, and you're told to solve a problem, come up with a solution for your scenario. But it's just very minor details, and we'll go more in depth in that in the next slide. The next thing is the preparation time is increased and your presentation time is increased in Collegiate DECA. All right, so if we move on to the next slide, we'll see more about competition. So here I went ahead and compared the case studies and role plays in high school versus college, and then the prepared events in high school versus college. So if we take a look here, in high school, there's one participant for case studies or role plays. You have the exam for whatever career cluster you choose. You have 2 role plays that are 10 minutes each, and then interview time is 10 minutes. In case studies, you still have the one participant for individual events, and then you still have the career cluster exam. But instead of 2 role plays, you have 1 case study, and the prep time is 30 minutes instead of 10 minutes. The presentation time is 15 minutes. Now, people might look at that, they're like, 30 minutes, that's a long time. I'm a little skeptical of that. Again, if you compare both, the times are almost equal, because instead of 2 role plays, you're doing 1 case study. And so when you add the times together, 20 minutes prep time, 20 minutes interview time versus the 45 minutes you get in the collegiate competitions, it's almost the same. As for prepared events, again, you still have the 1 to 3 students if it's a team event or individual. And then in high school, you have 20 pages for your written content. And then you present your plan in 15 minutes versus in college, it's switched. So 15 pages of written content and then 20 minutes of presentation time. All right. Moving on to competition, and it's my favorite slide, I think. I just love talking about competition. So we did talk a little bit about, the logistics and the details of what kind of competitions there are earlier. But there is way more to CDC and ICDC than competition. And, that's why it's called a career development conference and not just competition, career development competition, right? So we have workshops, leadership workshops. You get to meet, listen, and connect with people that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten the chance to. There's lots of amazing guest speakers that speak at CDC and ICDC. So it's great listening to those. And then you also make a lot of connections. And you'll notice that I emphasize networking and connections a lot in this presentation. And that's really because I feel like it's a huge factor of Collegiate DECA. So, my junior year, I got into ICDC, but I wasn't able to go compete because everything was virtual. So I had virtual ICDC, and then my senior year, I actually got to go to ICDC, and the connections I made, I believe, will stick with me forever. I got to meet, for example, the Rhode Island DECA state president, and her and I are still very close friends until now. It was an amazing connection I got to make. You get to connect with students all over the world and all over the US. And I will emphasize these connections are what are preparing you for the real world. Okay. So, no matter what career you're in, my dad, for example, he was telling his coworker about how I was involved in DECA and how I was traveling to Georgia for the ICDC last year. And he was like, oh my gosh, I was in DECA and I also went to ICDC. And so you never know when you might need that connection in the future, right? I mean, he's a doctor, but he was still in DECA, and I think that's really cool. Um, so yeah, and then travel, my favorite point. So like I said, last year we went to Georgia, and this year ICDC will be in Orlando, Florida. So I definitely look forward to that. Um, and then as for costs, we're definitely, Orlando is definitely slightly more expensive than Georgia. So we're working on fundraising for that as well. Um, yeah, I'm very excited about traveling to Florida this year. And then I have a whole other slide prepared for you guys about connections and opportunities because that is something that DECA truly provides a lot of in college. So one way that you can connect and learn leadership skills is through Engage, which is a leadership conference. This year it's in Georgia. And Engage is just another way to go gain leadership and inspiration from people that work with leadership and work with motivational speaking as a living. And really connect with your peers again. There's also the Leadership Passport Program, which is a program that can help you gain recognition through like national DECA. And basically what it is it has four aspects. The first one is academically prepared. So you complete challenges in this aspect, which is basically you can compete in a competition, you can go to a competition camp or host a competition camp or practice a role play, or you can do the stock market game or various challenges that are available in DECA, and that will earn you points for the academically prepared section. The other section is community oriented, so community service events, going to any community service events with your chapter. That's ways you can earn that point. There's professionally responsible. So that involves networking, attending your chapter's events or state events or international events, leadership workshops, hosting a leadership workshop, sort of like this one, or speaking with others about your DECA experience. And then the last one is experienced leaders. And so if you hold a leadership position in your chapter, in your state, even if you don't hold a leadership position, but exemplify and show leadership qualities, that is a way that you can earn this point. And so I highly recommend you check out the Leadership Passport program. I think it's a great way to get recognition and also a great way to practice involvement within your community and within DECA. And then another opportunity that DECA presents is the Anderson Advisor Scholarship Program. And this is one of many scholarship programs that you can find through DECA. So not only does the Anderson Advisors Scholarship Program provide scholarships for, let me add, it's for juniors, seniors, and collegiate members. So definitely check that out if you are a junior or senior looking to join Collegiate DECA, or even if you're not, definitely still check those out. And they provide various scholarships, so you have a chance of getting that. And they also provide internships. So that was something really cool when I was checking through the DECA guide, is I saw that they also had opportunities for internships. And I've been looking for internships. I know you guys are in college. It's an amazing experience to get out in the real world, the business world, and definitely check that out. In fact, hold on. Okay. Awesome. So this last point that I wanted to make, and I think is a really impactful one, is not only are you trying to network by joining DECA and meet new people, but you also are making friends. And that's something that DECA has helped me with through high school and also through college. You know, we're starting our chapter at OU. I'm super excited to meet everyone there, and I think I'm going to be able to make lifelong friends through this organization. So I put up these two logistics here. We have the OU student population, the OSU student population is, as you can see, they're both very big, right? 20,000 students, 25,000 students. And so me as a freshman, I've been trying to navigate through this huge campus and really trying to make deep, meaningful connections. And that can be difficult when you're, you know, in a lecture hall of 500 students or, you know, in a campus of 20,000 students. And so the way you make these deep connections is by joining organizations and clubs that you resonate with, where you can meet people that kind of are working towards the same goals as you or share the same interests as you. And DECA is an amazing way to do that. You know, connections are made through student organizations, and I truly believe that. So, you know, OU starting a chapter. If you're going to OU, OSU already has a chapter, and there are several career tech schools that have chapters. And you know, it is growing slowly but surely in Oklahoma. And if you are interested in starting a chapter, you know, reach out to me. It's an amazing opportunity. So begin your membership journey today. You know, you can join your chapter on campus. Like I said, if you're an OU, OSU, or definitely check out if you're going to a career tech school, they will most likely have a chapter on campus. If not, then you can start a chapter on your campus. If you need any help with that, reach out to me or any of the state officers or the state advisor, and we would be more than happy to help. Or if you feel like that's a little too much, and you want to sort of take it easy going into college, and maybe you feel like starting your own chapter might be a little too much right now, then definitely join as an independent member. And that way you'll still get to engage in all the challenges that international DECA offers, and then also state events. So, in person, we would have Kyla Ellis coming out and talking to us. Kyla Ellis is an amazing person, an amazing student. She's the former and first Oklahoma DECA Collegiate State President. She actually won, as you can see, she won first place in her competition in ICDC, which was the first time for Oklahoma to gain that title on the international level. She's currently pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration at OSU, majoring in Hospitality and Tourism Management with a concentration in event planning. She's really awesome. If you guys haven't met her before or haven't, you know, checked out any of her stuff, definitely check her out. If you have any questions that you might want to ask her about Collegiate DECA, you know, just shoot her an email or shoot me an email. But she's awesome, yeah, and she would be presenting in person. So I'm super excited for that. Lastly, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email and Instagram are linked below. Email me anytime or shoot me a DM and I will reply as soon as I can. I'm super excited to hear back from you guys. Let me know if you have any interest in joining a chapter, starting a chapter, joining as an independent member, or if you just want to talk, I'm always here. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I hope you have an amazing day and thank you for listening.